Episode, which one is this one? Yeah, it is 57.
Joe, you've been putting in oil.
Yeah,
57.
yeah.
You drop once a week.
Once a week only.
Wow. So it's been 57 weeks. Don't stop, bro.
Yo.
Don't stop.
Yo.
People undermine this hustle thing. Like,
Yo.
don't stop.
Yeah, but now we must choose now. Come on, boys. Come on now. Where you running to? Danko.
Episode 57.
This is
57.
Switch, episode 57 with DJ Mabuda.
Sprung, yeah. What it do with your boy Djswitch, the mixtape king. If you don't know, now you know, suckers. I'm super excited for this episode. It's actually been, it's just part of the whole journey. That's all I can say. And we're going to get schooled today like you've never thought of. And, man, make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you share. Let us know you'd like to see. Once again, the platform is for up-and-coming artists, but also when we get a guest artist, a guest personality to come through and just school us a little bit. You know, they're going to put you on. I don't just put you on onto new artists, but, maybe someone's going to put you onto some shit that you don't even know yourself. And we're chilling with none other than the number one Knoxman, the guy who just disrupts the industry, makes people upset, gets fired, and then just goes and probably
Makes money.
That's, he said it, but anyway. My man, huh?
Poo, 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 poo.
Nah, we don't do that here. We only quick claps here. We're only clapping here. Djsbu, the number one Knoxman, the hustler, the entrepreneur. And when you're saying, we're gonna open these cans here,
I always want to thank. That's my God, my brother.
See, my ex doesn't hit here because we colored people. We don't like the tongues don't click now, bros. I don't even know where to start, but more important, thank you first of all for coming to the podcast. There's a lot of artists out there. They're trying to navigate this space. You have had a record label. You've started businesses, multiple businesses. You failed. Then you keep on going on to open up more businesses, right? Like you've gotten shut down, been criticized, and you keep, in Africa when you say nah, like you fuck up this industry. Like you basically giving them the middle finger, saying that no matter what you do or no matter how many times they shut you down, you keep coming back. For the person that's coming into this industry, they don't know nothing of what you've been through, right? I mean, you've had, one of the biggest and most successful record labels, one of the biggest artists, RIP to PRO, right? You sign him and put him up there. And we speak about hip hop because also, you also one of the biggest songs, like, geez, when it rained, damn. That was like a New Year's anthem.
It's great, man, to be here. I think sometimes we forget even how we met.
Yo.
Go way back, man.
YFM, Massive Metro.
Urban Brew.
Where
it started.
All right, we were on Friends Like These.
Yeah.
When he had no hair that time.
When you were doing the Yo
doing
TV.
Yo TV.
Yeah.
Right? Now you're doing the... And obviously, I know this guy only follows Jay-Z. He follows with the money. That's how I know. You only follow the money. Now he's rocking the same hairstyle.
It's not because of Jay-Z.
This is a billionaire lifestyle.
But it's always nice to rather follow a billionaire rapper.
God damn, let's give you some claps right there, huh?
It makes sense, yeah.
And I mean, I just want to know, even T-Bang from Untitled just wants to know, like, yo, man, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm blessed. I'm excited. I'm inspired than ever before. And as we are recording this episode, Prime Energy Drink just landed in South Africa. It's trending #1. I love competition. I love being inspired.
Yo.
And I also get reminded that the color of our skin takes us almost a decade. I'm 9 years deep. Been knocking on ShopRite checkouts for all these years. And I just wanted to thank them for eventually giving us an opportunity last year. 2022, they gave us Gauteng. They said, prove yourself in Gauteng, then we'll put you up the rest of the country. And then obviously right now, with a Prime Energy Drink coming in, same time, already at ShopRite checkers everywhere. Also reminds you that as a black person, you have to work 10 times as harder.
Right.
And I also don't want to use that excuse and throw in the race card.
Sure.
But it's an obvious thing.
Right.
People can see it. It's
Right.
out there.
Right.
But also another thing, man, they've got millions of dollars of marketing money to throw at these things. It's the same as getting a new rapper
Yeah.
who is not as talented, but there's maybe like millions of dollars of marketing for him. Marketing always makes a difference. You will find an artist that can end up becoming one of the biggest artists because there's always marketing dollars that are thrown at him, right? As opposed to the talented rapper over there who's just doing their thing and grinding, and their come up is just takes so long.
Yeah.
But it's about not giving up. I've just been great. I'm excited. I've been a part of working with some of the best in the business, and I'm just very proud of this platform. Congratulations.
Yo, congratulations to you, man. God damn. I mean, once again, also RIP to Brown Dash. You paid homage. You celebrated that man. You celebrated PRO. And I mean, we can go into the other parts of, TS Records. And I mean, for some, even for some, I'm a 2K, they don't even know. They don't know you've done all these things. I mean, we've heard about the stories from where you were like, you would come to the studio, you'd stay at the studio. You did the graveyard shift. Just to break in, I mean, what was it for you? I mean, you're coming from Tembisa, right? Just for you to break into this industry. Like, I mean, for us today, let's say 15 years ago to today, right now it's being handed to everybody on a silver platter. There we were to hustle. We had to make a name for ourselves. Like, we had to do 100 gigs before they knew who Djswitch was next to Djsbu. Why must we book Djsbu over Djswitch? Or why must we, and vice versa? Today, what advice would you give someone? They're trying to break out. They're trying to either sign a record deal. They're trying to get their music out there. Yeah, we've got the internet now. Now it's wild. And we've seen the transition. We've seen from vinyls to CDs to USBs,
Yeah.
right? What would you tell someone that's coming in this game now and they want to start their music career and make it last for the next 10 years, not for 3 years, but 10 years, the longevity? What advice would you give it?
I think the first thing that I just started with was very relevant. I had to start with the Prime Energy drink and just make you an example of more Faya. And the reason why I'm doing that, it's intentional. Because I want that young person to understand it takes the grind. And even if at some point you might feel like, but I don't have the marketing dollars that Logan Paul has. But you need to remember one thing, Logan Paul was a nobody at some point. As much as he might not be black, as much as I don't know his history, what type of family he comes from. But what I know is that he's a big YouTube star, right? So you've got YouTube as well. So if you've got data, you've got a laptop, or you've got a small camera, you've got some friends, why not just record videos daily? I see a lot of young cats, that's what they're doing right now, which is really dope. Like, if you've got the skill, get yourself out there. Make sure that you open all social media platforms. And as much as you're saying that it's easier right now, as much as it's easier, it's also saturated. There's everybody on it, right? So the best thing to do is, how do you stand out? The first time when I started hearing that Big Xhosa actually can really rap,
right,
was, I think it was early last year. Because all along I just thought it's just this guy who just does parody rap or is just, making fun of whatever. But then one time I listened to him, I was like, okay, this guy can really rap. So he gets it. So he can be a character for show, but he actually has the skill. And I was blessed enough to have a conversation with him, and he told me that, the character gets him the numbers. It gives him the pool. Then he can show the audience that he actually can really rap. There's another battle rapper from the US by the name of Daylight. Daylight is a battle rapper. He's flipping good. He's conscious. His rhyme schemes are amazing. His flows, his writing. He's an incredible battle rapper. When you go to YouTube and watch his videos, you can see him burying a lot of opponents. Yeah. But a lot of the times it trolls. And when you listen to some of his interviews, there's also a Vlad interview that he did, and he does say that he would troll because he's trying to get you
engaged.
In. Yeah. And then from there, you'll realize later that he actually has the skill.
That was Big X's sort of strategy as well. He went and trolled a lot of people to find out who is this guy, and then he goes and delivers the message, and then they're like, oh, he's actually really dope, like
even
you say.
50 Cent as well.
Yeah, he does it in every day till today.
Till today, you know what I mean? Yeah. So find a way, and I'm not saying cloud chase in a negative way, where you are, degrading other people's brands. You are pulling down others so you can lift yourself up. I wouldn't advise that. I see a lot of people do that a lot. It'll still give you numbers, but ethically, I don't think it's a good way of coming up. I think you can still find ways of getting clout without having to clout chase in a negative way. Because look at it this way, whether you like it or not, we are all clout chasing somehow. as
Correct.
content creators. The type of captions we put into our videos so we can attract people.
Right.
The type of things we do to sort of clip up our content so we can advertise it on other social media platform. We are chasing for clout.
Clout, yeah.
Yes, sometimes we all say these things online and we say, no, we're not clout chasing. Basically meaning because now it's affiliated with the negative connotation,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But all of us are looking for that clout. We are looking for an audience. So you are looking for an audience. You've got the skills as a rapper. Find ways to get yourself out there, not only by collaborating with other well-known artists, because in the beginning they probably don't know you, but get yourself out there. As I did say, you don't even have to wait for a great camera phone. Just find a way to save some money and get yourself a good phone that you can actually shoot videos from a phone with your friend, or you can even learn the skills. There's a how-to video on anything on YouTube, and then learn yourself how to edit these videos. Get your friend, shoot yourself, edit these videos, keep putting out content. It does not have to be a high class quality music video all the time, because we do know that those are costly. So if you're still young, you're still coming up out there, my message to you is just grab a phone. Have no shame. Just grab a phone and then just keep dropping those freestyles, because you know the skill that God gave you, you can't run out. There's so much talent where all of that creativity comes from, that you can even do flipping 100 freestyles in a month and keep putting them out there. Somehow they'll find its own audience, and you can never know who might listen to a freestyle, what opportunity they might give you, what may happen. But other than anything, you have to still put in the work, even in this internet era. Actually, you have to put in more work now than we did. But what's nice about you guys is that it's easier work. You don't have to be in trains. You don't have to be always everywhere just to get things done.
You don't have to leave home.
You can get things done from home.
Yeah. So let's look at this scenario. Being signed and being independent. What would you say?
Hey, that's a very good question. Being signed gives you resources. It gives you support. It gives you an opportunity to get features from some other big names that are signed with you on that label.
Yep.
It also gives you an opportunity to go international. Maybe the label you are signed to, they're affiliated with a major that can make phone calls or send a couple of emails overseas. You might get even features there, even on the continent. But then on the other side, you can also say, yeah, but these guys, there isn't much work that they put in.
Yeah.
They're only just going to put you into these DSP's playlists.
You're right.
And then from there, they'll just say, we'll shoot your music videos because we've got the budget too.
Yeah.
And from there, they sign you up for a couple of years. And while your hottest years of your career end up being with them, where you're making the most hot music.
Correct.
And when you're no longer as hot, maybe you've done that 3-album deal now.
Yeah.
You think you can do it on your own. Maybe that's when your star starts declining.
Yes.
So, there's always a catch-20 where being signed, it makes things easier, but you don't get to understand the actual grind. You don't get to build the relationships yourself.
Right.
You don't get to have it the hard way yourself. But also most of the time when you do get signed, it's after you had been putting in work, because the record labels also have become clever.
Yeah.
Now.
They're gonna like capitalize on what you've been doing anyway.
Yeah, they're not just gonna go pick you up from the street corner.
Exactly, because then they have to start from the beginning, and it's harder work now.
They're looking at other kids like you,
Yeah.
but who've got some sort of traction on the internet.
Correct.
So go out there and put in the traction. So being independent, though, gives you the leeway to always own everything of yours, move the way you want, make your own decisions, decide to do whatever you want to do, but it's harder and it's more expensive.
It takes longer too.
And it takes longer. So it also depends what type of family you come from, how much money support do you have behind you to make good quality music videos, to travel to because you need to remember, sometimes when you see these people do these shows all over the country or all over the continent or even overseas, a lot of them, they're not actually making that much money. They're getting themselves out there.
Correct.
I know, even with Coffee's story, including Trevor Noah, I've been following them for many years from when they started their careers. I do know that in their earlier years, they were not making money going overseas. They were spending their own money to get put onto shows overseas so they can display their skills.
In actual fact, Costa Titch did the same. RIP to him as well. Before he went on to making. Getting or transitioning. I mean, he was also one of the originators, transitioning from hip hop and piano together. before he went and started his music career, he had actually gone overseas and met this YouTube influencer called Vader. And he spent 40,000 rands to pay for his ticket, went overseas to learn from this guy, and then came back and then started. But because he was already on the internet, he was already a dancer. He was already supplying the content. And for a lot of people, they feel like, Aish, maybe I need to be a dancer. Maybe I need to be, I need to be gimmicky. You understand what I'm saying? And I mean, like, and that's what they feel they need to just like chasing clout. Because if you can, create the controversy, then people will start following you. And for a lot of people, they find it very difficult to break into the scene, not because you're black, not because you're white, Indian, colored, whatever the case may be. But what is people, because South Africans love controversy. You understand?
Yeah.
You just do something bad, they're on your case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people launch that to make it better or highlight their career from that. Whatever bad, like they say in entertainment, good or bad, it's gonna add value to your brand. But if you can get out of the bad, then well done to you. You know what I mean? And I mean, for a fact that does help. I mean, you got fired from Metro because you were your idea and your dream 9 years
I launched
later.
it at a Metro Awards platform.
And they
which
already
was
told you,
live
like,
on
if you
TV.
do this,
And they fired me.
they're like, if you do this, you must know Monday, don't come into work.
Out of here, yeah.
And then you also went onto a plane of that, by the way. Let's give you some claps for that shit. This guy goes onto a freaking SAA flight. Were you on your way to the States?
No, I was from New York coming to Joburg.
This guy goes onto the flight. Now, you must remember the whole flight is full of white people, number one.
Was it Cape Town to... Was it to Cape Town? I don't remember.
It was a local flight.
Yeah.
This guy goes and he says, guys, this is not, I'm not hijacking the plane or something like that. But listen, when I say Mo, you say fire. And you got the whole plane to chant Mo fire.
And
You know what's wild? Sorry to cut you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You could have been a terrorist at that time, and they would be like, okay, let's just say what he does. Whatever he asks us to do, we're gonna do it.
Yeah. It takes balls.
Bro.
So even to build a career switch, it takes balls.
Shit.
It takes balls to just be in front of an audience of 20 people. It takes balls to be in front of an audience of 100 people. It takes balls to be in front of an audience of 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people. It's not an easy thing to do. So if you're not cut out for it, it's not going to be easy for you. But if you feel you built different and you built for this business, you built to be creative and believe in yourself, and whatever platform you get, you can kill it. Sometimes you don't have to wait to get a platform. You can create a platform out of places where, other people don't see an opportunity. I did that for me because the hunger that I've always had to build my business has always...
Businesses.
Yeah, well, a lot of them have failed. And I always say you only need to be right once. You only need to be right once in business. I mean, I've done so many things. A lot of them have failed. This is the most successful one. That is the business that I've ever
What do you
had to
mean?
do.
You, the brand, is successful. Plus, you got now property you're into. You're into crypto. Yo, by the way, we're on that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and big up for being
Yo,
in crypto, bro. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You're into crypto. You're into property. You've got the first South African energy drink, the most successful, because we've seen others come and go, right?
Yeah.
And also, I think, when you say Prime versus you, it's not because they just like a juice like vitamin water. This is a fizzy drink. So it's a soda drink. But like, how do you, and you also know you got your daughter now also becoming an entrepreneur, and you're teaching her to become, well sustainable, to build projects upon projects or build whatever. Even if you fail, you're still going. What does it take for someone to really just keep going? Because a lot of people come into this industry the last 3 years and they're out. We've seen many people come and go.
You have to love it. Like you guys love hip hop, you have to love it. You can't do it because you're chasing the money. At some point, you're going to get bored. And when you get bored, that's when you stop.
Right.
So it has to be something you love. You have to be passionate about it. It has to be something that you actually can do for free, where nobody can give you a cent. You can
Yo,
keep
let's
doing
give
it.
you some claps for that, because when you say that part, I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump in here and there, but we did your TV for free for 1 year. Because Urban Brew, they make you slave there, right? We did
But
Urban.
it's great training.
Yo, they will train you there.
Proper training. Yeah.
If you want to know about TV, go to Urban Brew.
I'm who I am because of Urban Brew and YFM. YFM taught me radio. Urban Brew trained the hell out of me when it comes to television, and I also created a lot of relationships being at Urban Brew. One of those relationships is sitting right in front of me.
Yeah.
But guys, you have to understand that this is the entertainment business, and the way people consume music nowadays is different from when they were consuming music when we were at our prime. Treat yourself as a content creator now. Don't be too cool to create content. But also understand that every video that you put out there is going to exist forever. Don't be like politicians. They forget the lie they told two years ago.
5 days ago.
Yeah, 5 days ago even, you know.
Right.
When I say, and then we pull that lie over, they were like,
Yeah.
but this was humorous. So
Exactly.
remember that these videos are going to exist forever. So if it's something you're going to be proud of when you are 50 or when you are 60 and your children are adults, it's okay. Put it out there, you know. But if it's something that you're not going to be proud of at a later stage, be careful what you put out there because it's going to exist forever.
Correct.
But there's no limits to you. I mean, look at the type of content that Mr. Beast is doing now.
Yeah.
Yes, now he can because he's generating a lot of money. He's able to
Yo.
reinvest into his videos and do some like tremendous astronomical stuff that he's doing that's getting him out there. But there's also a whole lot of other South Africans that just started YouTube. I mean, Casper Lee started YouTube when it wasn't cool to be on YouTube back in
Right,
the day.
right.
Casper Lee was the biggest YouTuber from South Africa for like a decade, if not more. He hasn't been posting for quite some time. I know he owns like 200 properties in Cape Town now. He's based in Kenya. He's in the UK. He's a global citizen. Why? He used YouTube. So, you know, as much as there's a whole lot of other platforms, you have to love this thing. You have to be passionate about it so that when it takes time to grow, because it will take time to grow,
Correct.
especially in the beginning. I always say to people, it is harder to get your first 10,000 YouTube subscribers,
Yo.
or it's harder than it is to move from, let me put it this way, it's even more difficult to get your first 100,000 YouTube subscribers than it is to move from 100,000 to 1 million. It's
Yo.
easier to move from 100,000 to 1 million than it is to move from 0 to 100,000.
And I mean, you now on this, you on this whole like, on this run of, you know, posting every day, 365 days, you're going to be posting whatever, however, but obviously in line with what you're doing. You're not running just one channel, you're running 2 channels, right? Apart from Hustler's Corner podcast, you've got now the Djsbu, just normal YouTube page. And you showed me the stats. You know, when I got into my YouTube page is when Sia from Slick On Life said, go look and study the analytics. The numbers will tell you everything. And it will show you where your highlights and your peaks are. And that's when I started looking at my numbers, whether it be on YouTube, on Spotify, on iTunes. I started looking at the numbers and I started engaging in those kind of things because the back office or the back end of the site will tell you exactly what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong.
On every video.
On everything.
Because YouTube, let's say YouTube alone, forget all the other platforms because it's the easiest and it's the most consumed and it's the easiest to get you global.
Yeah.
And remember, guys, nowadays in 2023, you don't even have to leave and get into a plane and go overseas.
Correct.
The fact that we're on YouTube now, we're global.
It's mad.
We're already
It's mad.
global. That's the reason why when you find a lot of YouTubers who have got over 500,000, 1 million subscribers
Yeah.
who are from South Africa, most of them are now international. The reason why Major League is gigging all over the world, and they even did they got a deal with an international company, is because they took advantage of YouTube from the lockdown.
Right.
People don't even know that Major League they were hip hop DJs. They used
Yeah.
to mix on my show at Metro
Correct.
FM. You used to mix on my show
Yes.
from YFM days.
Yeah.
Major League were mixing on my show at Metro FM. They were hip hop DJs.
Yeah.
But they also evolved because they saw how the game was moving. That's why we are also evolving, coming from mainstream. We are now online. We are now
Correct.
podcasting. We are now YouTubers. You must also evolve with the times. You can't just, because you've been an MC all along, now you're too cool to get on YouTube. You're too cool to be on social media because you think, these kids this, these kids that. Even if you're at our age, you're in your 40s or your 30s, you're still a kid. It's treated like it's content.
Correct. Because, I mean, there's these guys on TikTok, they call the retirement home. And it's my Grises Matala. And they're doing like these dance challenges, but they're making money in their old age because people think that, you know, because you see, when you start this whole thing, it's like people always scratch their head and think like, how do I start? The main thing is just to
start.
right?
Just press record.
With anything. With anything.
Just start, bro.
With anything.
And that's why I say to people, just grab a phone and start. So a lot of people, what I've seen is, I'm waiting. I'm a great MC, but I'm waiting to get some budget so I can shoot this music video, man.
Sure.
I'm waiting
Yeah,
to
man.
get this
Yeah, man.
camera.
Even
I'm
Spu's gonna
waiting-
rap now. It's like, yeah, man.
because that's what a lot of people
Yeah,
say. I'm
yeah.
waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for my nice makeup kit. I'm waiting for those people to agree to do a deal with me so I can shoot in their studios.
Correct.
I'm waiting for a team. I'm waiting for.
Waiting
You
for
want to
what?
wait until when though?
Right.
Because a lot of videos that you love online, a lot of them are actually shot from iPhones,
Correct.
from Androids that are good quality. You don't even have to get a good quality one.
Yeah.
I got an old iPhone. This is an old iPhone.
Yeah.
This is like iPhone 10 or something. It's old, but it gets the job done.
Correct.
I'm doing, as you're saying, the 365-day YouTube challenge of trying to encourage my audience to post every day so we can grow our platforms. And the reason why I'm also participating in it so they can see I'm also doing it.
Correct.
And on my platform, my YouTube channel is Djsbu. We've got another channel. Shout outs to my brother Rude Boy Paul from YFM. He's got
Yo.
his podcast, House of Sankofa. We're working together there. We are also working with some of the guys I was working with at Massive Metro. Stefan and Ria. We've got a podcast called Everything SA Music. Shout outs to the guys that are doing great work there.
Shout out to those boys. At
We've
least,
got
they didn't get sued by Bonang.
They did.
Well, they did, but they got out of it.
Ria did get sued.
But did he pay?
He is paying every month.
Oh shit.
Even if he can say he doesn't want to pay, the law filed against him. So, the judge ruled the case in Bonang's favor, which means even if he can only afford 100 rands a month, even if he can only afford 500 rands a month.
And what was it? 250?
I think it was 500,000. I stand to be corrected. I'm not
God
sure.
damn.
But it's also a good teachable moment,
Right. Don't
Mr. Switch.
don't talk shit about people you don't know anything about.
You can easily get sued. I can easily sue you. But, a lot of them, I just choose to let it go. Other people can sue you, so be responsible with the platform as well. Just know how to push the envelope without falling on the edge. Don't fall. Just push the envelope enough that you can create the type of sensations you want to create, but you're still safe legally,
How do you feel like, Spu, you've been criticized for doing this, doing that, doing whatever, and you're still out here like grinding. Like, how do you feel like, you went through those stages? Do you think it was just because you wanted to create like the clout, and people like, they spoke bad about you, and now you're here, and obviously now you're in a new space, you don't care because you're only doing this for your daughter anyway, right?
Yeah.
And like a lot of people get in, and what I'm getting to is that, let's say for example, now Tumi is a good rapper, and he goes, and because it's happened to our rappers, it's happened to our artists, they just do one, because when you do one thing wrong compared to the 10 good things you did, the wrong thing stands out bigger than the 10 things. How do you tell someone, because then that leads to mental illness, and it can crush someone's career, it can it crushes their morality, it crushes them as a whole. You know what I mean? You had Aries on your show, and that guy came out of that camp, and then he's still right now he's still thriving. But for the other guys, some of them are not making it. How does one combat those kind of situations? Because once you're an artist and people see you in the spotlight, they will judge you for everything you do, no matter how good, no matter how bad it is, but they'll bring the hammer down on you, because at the end of the day, the fans do make us, right? The people who invested in you make us. How does one get out of that?
That's a very good question. As much as you're ready to put yourself out there, you must understand what you're getting yourself into. That's why some of us wouldn't pursue becoming engineers and practicing there, or becoming doctors and whatever. We pursued this entertainment thing. And we've been criticized since the Shwashwi days, back in the day. So we used to being dragged. We used to being, called to account. We used to being criticized. We used to being, and in the past, sometimes, it might have costed you endorsements. It might have costed you money. It might have costed you this and that. But as soon as you start wanting to put yourself out there, or wanting to be a rapper, you must understand, for you to get to the top of your game, the rapping or your music will require you to be its ambassador. And when you're the ambassador, you're going to get criticized, whether you like it or not. So if you are Marshall Mathers, you create a brand called Eminem. You are Tato Squano, you create a brand called DJ Fresh. You are Sibusiso Leope, you create a brand called Djsbu. You will get criticized. No matter what that brand does, you will get criticized, no matter how great it is. So you must know equally so, as much as you're putting yourself out there, there will be a time when you will get dragged. There was a time when I was just I was in Sun City, I think. I was just taking a wee wee on the wall there. I'll make the front page of a Sunday World cause being shy 6'9", you know?
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
But I mean, bro, like everybody's 6'9".
Yeah.
But I'm just making an example that people start seeing you different. So if you're saying you wanna be a brand that represents 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and you wanna be a role model, goes back to what I was saying earlier. You must be careful what you put out. And if you're saying you want to be this private person where you don't want people in your business, trust me, this is not the right business for you to get into. If you want to be a rapper, you will be famous. You will have to be famous somehow to get your music out there.
Yeah.
And that comes at some point with a lot of criticism, with a lot of you being dragged. So understand that there will come a time that you do get dragged. So rather sometimes put your work out there. There's other people like me, for instance, who don't put out certain stuff out there. I don't put out my daily duties when I'm at home. I don't put out a lot of the things that happen in my household on the internet.
Right.
I don't show people my type of home.
Correct.
Or I don't show people a lot of things. I don't show people. I show them what I want them to
Correct.
know. And then that's when the people, they think they know you. And which is fine because that's what we want. We're putting out, you're pushing products, you're pushing music,
Correct.
you're pushing all of that. So at some point, the same people are going to come and criticize you. They're going to come and drag you. They're going to come and want to hold you to account, you know, and it's understandable. That's the game we're in.
Sure.
So if you don't want it to cross the line to your private life, rather be careful about your private life in the first place. Correct. Don't post about your private life and then come back later and say, I'm just a rapper. You guys must only focus on my music.
Right.
But
right.
it's you who got us into your business.
Exactly.
Bro. It's you who was posting yourself with your kid in your bedroom.
Correct.
It's you who was posting your lounge area. It's you who was posting your cars, your garage. Correct. You literally got us into your house. So you can't come all of a sudden and say you don't want us in your private space. In the meantime, from the beginning, you got us into it. So be careful, all you rappers out there, guys. You must understand that your private space is your private space. If at some point at a later stage you don't want people getting into your private business, rather keep a boundary and only post starting from here to there.
Yeah.
And never make a mistake of even posting one video from here, because they will use that video at some point in the future.
Correct.
To get into your private life.
Correct.
So rather keep them here, because trust me, whether you like it or not, they will come for
Block
you.
them off, block them off.
Especially hip hop fans.
Trust. Top 5 rappers right now for you.
Maglera Doughboy, definitely. Tato Soul, definitely. I don't know what happened with Lucas Raps not putting out music, But Lucas
Mr. Raps.
Lucas Raps is just one of those kids that I've always been looking at and thinking the brother is coming. He's putting in some work. Obviously, the other guys are already known. The A-Reese's and the Nasty C's are already known. But focusing on the younger guys, I'll throw in 2 more names. I'll say there's another rapper from Pitori. He actually does what they call Bacardi music.
Bacardi music, that's what's their thing.
Yeah.
That's their thing. That's where Focalistic comes from,
Yeah.
That's like what they do.
The boy's a creator of Quantum Sound. He's actually a rapper, but he raps on Bacardi music, Quantum Sound, piano type of beats. His name is Sizwe 19.
Season 19.
Yeah,
Yo,
Season
go
19.
check that out. Season 19.
He's from Pitori. He's dope. He speaks that Pitori style.
Right, that other
He
funny
just
style
raps in
there.
that. Too dope, bro. Like, I'm a big fan of him as well. There's a whole lot of others, but those are the ones that come to mind right now.
Yeah. I've seen you on this mission. You've you're on this in this whole digital space right now, and you don't care. You're just running. And you're just telling people to get it, to get involved, for also South Africans to move with the time, move with the space. You dropped the NFT in crypto.
2 NFTs, yeah.
2 NFTs that sold out.
Sold out, all of them, yeah.
That went from $300 up to
$500.
$500 in terms of inflation.
They're now selling on the secondary market for a little bit more. I don't know whoever bought them. I don't know how much they're selling them for on the secondary market, yeah.
Then you go to the States for 3 months. People are showering you with dollars.
But you know what? When I was in the US, people are asking me about Nota and Peno. I used to travel around.
Here's a good question. Why are you hanging out with like the biggest instigators on the net?
I recognize talent,
Right.
and I don't think people understand how intelligent Penuel is. He might be disruptive in his own way.
Correct.
Which, a lot of the things that he would say, I don't share the same views as he does. But I'm one of those people who is not I don't go with the herd because the herd is saying mob mentality. We are canceling this person.
Correct.
I'm a part of canceling that person.
Yeah.
I don't work like that. I work in recognizing talent, and I can see the talent in Penyo. And we've been working together for a year now. You can see how incredible
The numbers are crazy.
If you
man.
look at the intelligence of the brother,
Yeah.
you can see what I saw.
No, he's super smart. He's super smart.
Same thing with Nota. I really don't like a lot of the things that Nota would post out there. I don't agree with him on a lot of things. But I recognize something that a lot of people didn't recognize when I started regularly having Nota on our podcast. From about, I've done over 10 episodes. I don't know, 15 episodes,
Yeah.
interviews with Nota. And the reason I would recall him over and over, I was getting frustrated that actually some people they don't listen to the guy.
Yeah,
I think people go by what. I guess also with Nota, he will be disruptive and people will focus on that disruption.
Right.
But I'm able to recognize the intelligence.
Right.
that
You
he
get into
has.
the nitty gritty stuff of what he's saying
So
and
if you
how
were
he
to-
says it.
Yes,
It's
if you were
important,
to listen to him for an hour, just listen to an interview of wherever platform he's been on. I don't know other platforms, but I do know on my platform I'm able to bring out the intelligence out of him. And I think that's what people don't really recognize about him when he's on other platforms. I think other people want to use him for clout. They want to talk about, what about Berita? What about this?
Right,
What about that?
right,
All these things that are
right.
trending, as opposed to asking him intelligent questions. You will get intelligent answers and intelligent opinions because he is that intelligent.
Right.
When I used to say that in the beginning, people used to say, I'm crazy. But I'm starting to get a lot of people who are starting to say, actually, this brother is dope.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
intelligent.
yeah.
And that's a skill that I've always had in recognizing talent. And that's why I work with those brothers. And it's not only them, it could be you tomorrow. No matter how much you're dragged out there or whatever you're involved in, yes, it's easy for everybody to say, let's cancel you. Let's throw you into the dustbin. Get out of here. But it just takes that one person who believes in you to be like, actually come here. I think I can play a role in helping this brother. Even they themselves recognize their own potential. And maybe if I play that role in their life, they probably will not be this person that other people out there that don't like about them maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, which is the same example as I would make with Nota. I really do think him hanging around with people like myself have helped him even grow mentally because he's too intelligent to be doing some of the things that he would do sometimes.
I think he studied the game so well, over the years because he was involved in the success of Questa and Rap Life itself, and he's sat in boardrooms where they're signing millions of rands off for a deal, whatever the case may be, and a lot of people want to be in that space, but they don't study the game. They don't understand what's going on. I mean, like I said, you've been a big fan of Jay-Z. You study the guy. You understand his moves, and this is what's gotten you here now.
Yeah.
Right. It's gotten you here because you're reading. You're reading what millionaires do, right?
So Jay-Z makes it easy for you. Instead of you going to read his book, he already tells you through rapping.
Correct. He's telling you what he's doing.
I don't think actually even other people listen to such rappers for that. I think a lot of the times we listen to our favorite musicians for the entertainment aspect of it. Yes, they make great moves and we are inspired, but sometimes there are those rappers that drop game. When they open their mouth, it's just game that they drop.
Correct.
When I listen to KRS-One, I know I'm going to get schooled.
Correct.
When I listen to certain rappers, I know I'm going to get schooled, I'm going to get game. So one thing I've always admired about Jay-Z, even in his flossing, in his lyrics over the years, he's never been shy of giving you the reasons why he's moving the way he does.
Yeah.
He gives you game. Yeah. If you listen to his music from back in the day, the reason why I'm one of the most successful South Africans is because of people like him. I don't only study the moves, I listen to the music. What is the guy saying?
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not just for, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Yo, no.
Right.
I'm like, why is he saying that? Because guys like him don't only even have double, they've got like triple, quadruple entendres where you even listen to Reasonable Doubt now in 2023, 2024.
And what you're saying then is relevant
You're
now.
only hearing even what you never heard then.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is what he was also saying. Yeah. Because guys like those, and obviously Jay-Z is a name I can think of now. There's a whole lot of others, but I'll prefer listen to rappers that give me game like that, and that make me think, and that make me want to become a better person, not just floss at me, but also give me game on how you got there and what I can do as well to be like you. And those are some of the great musicians that you guys can be when you are like me. I'm making all these moves, but I show you guys. Like I give free game. I do YouTube platforms. I write books. I do seminars. I do YouTube videos. I do podcasts. I'm giving free game.
Correct.
A lot of overseas or international people who are on my level, they charge for this. They do
course,
courses where they charge. They charge for everything. Actually, they charge for everything.
Well, I mean, that is the game that the Americans do. They charge
Exactly.
for everything. If you want to get this game, you're gonna have to pay for it.
And I think sometimes that's why here in South Africa we end up sometimes taking it for granted.
Correct.
Because we never pay for it.
Of course.
But a lot of people are actually giving us game.
Yeah.
Casper gives game, even his moves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who give me game, man, and I would rather listen to those type of people as opposed to people that only make me dance.
Right. So if you're gonna sign somebody today, right? Let's say, for example, you're gonna sign up and coming artist. What are you looking for?
I think what made us work with Pro was the talent. And, we were always from the ghetto. We had a ghetto record label. We're unapologetically ghetto. We're loud about it. And we had a crew and we had traction. We had clout.
Yeah.
With all of the guys we were working with. And we had clout ourselves. And we kind of felt if we were going to work with a rapper, it has to be a rapper that potentially has got mass appeal in South Africa, because especially at that time it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
As you would hear on some of AKA's raps, may he so rest in peace. He did say, like who else do you know who would go platinum without a Venac record, right?
Right.
Because it was difficult back in the day, guys,
No.
to go platinum without a Venac record. And at the time we kind of felt, yo, Pro, you're great, you're a good rapper, but you speak a lot of English in your raps. So if you listen to a lot of his music before working with us at TS Records, you'll hear a lot of English.
Correct.
But if you listen to a lot of the music he was making when he was with us, you'll hear that 70-80% Kasi lingo.
Correct.
And a little bit of vernac here and there, so as to spice it up. So the creativity of it, relevance to the South African market. He knew where he was, which country he was in. He wasn't telling us about dollars and telling us about Rolls Royces.
I mean, and this is the thing when rappers come into this whole thing, they're trying to. Yes, you gotta visualize, you gotta dream, you gotta put it out there that you wanted one day drive a Rolls and want to start earning dollars. But I mean, the message to our masses, they're not going to understand that. So when you say when y'all changed his style, and it was obvious to appeal more to masses, even though he had mass appeal, you wanted to make it bigger than what it was. And I mean, that's why when I ask you, like when you're signing somebody today, and these kids don't know that, you need to become a hometown hero before you can actually step out to the rest of South Africa.
Yeah. And let me mention to you, don't sign a guy like Pro. We partnered with Pro. I always prefer to put it that way because of how much respect that I've always had for Pro and how much history we created together. And for us to work with him, that's what attracted us, that he was real. He could appeal to the masses. And, just the way he delivered his talent was amazing. Equally so as Jay-Z.
Yeah.
He was on that level from me till today. Like there's even some songs where I only start to hear what Pro was saying also now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is also what he was saying.
Yeah.
Pro was always that type of a rapper. But he was also understanding of the brand PRO as opposed to Linda Mkhize. You meet the guy, such a humble brother.
Too much.
You swear it's not the same guy who's rapping
Right?
on the music you're listening to. So I wouldn't advise anybody out there to rap because they want to get signed, but I would advise you to be as real you as possible so you can appeal to as many people as possible out there, even though you don't get signed. Although some of you guys, I know you are looking to get signed, but I'm also not a artist who's going to encourage other artists to not sign, because there are some perks that come with you working with a major label.
Yeah.
And it also depends the type of deal that you're going to sign, and it also depends what they're going to bring to the table and what they're signing to do.
Yeah.
So sometimes you must commit them and tell them these number of music videos per album or per year. These number of, make them, don't only take a contract from them. You must make sure that you get your legal people to counter oppose counter offer, right? And just say, we don't agree with this, we don't agree with that. This is actually what we want. This is actually what we want. This is also what we want. This, so you can only be at the expense of demanding such if you are in demand. You can't make demands if you are not in demand. So that's why in the beginning a lot of people will go independent for many years, so that you can sit in that table and demand such, because you've been putting in work and they're the ones who are looking for you.
Yes,
you are not desperate to get signed.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, people don't create the demand. You see, artists don't create the demand. They just want to be like, yo, I just want to start rapping, and they think in their mind tomorrow they're gonna blow up when they drop their song.
Exactly. And if I'm ambitious, if I'm TS, if I'm give me other local labels, if I'm Family Tree,
Electro Mode.
if I'm Electro Mode, if I'm Fifth Season,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spend like millions on you when you're just folding your arms and only just rapping on the mic. No, bro, like, you gotta put in the work.
Yeah,
And you need
yeah.
to remember, if I'm putting in millions on you, if I have to recoup those millions,
Correct.
a lot of us artists, we blame record companies, right? You
Right.
blame Kaiser Chiefs, you blame Orlando Pirates. But sometimes you forget that when you are with Orlando Pirates and Kaiser Chiefs, they are Kaiser Chiefs. And once your name is mentioned alongside them, you're going to explode.
Yeah.
And they're going to put you in platforms that you wouldn't necessarily explore yourself,
You know,
or get into on your own.
I look at this whole Ambitious story, and people forget that Ambitious is a business. And all these artists that come out there, they start complaining that, this is now a whole story, but it's like, but did you read the contract?
That's
Did you
exactly what
read?
I'm saying, that this is a
Did you
business.
read? Did you
I
read what was
can't-
going on
I'm
there?
not going to spend $1 million on you and maybe do a deal that says, I'm only going to do this, I'm only going to do that. And when you look as a business person, you look at the numbers, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And go ahead and still sign a deal like that. It's unfair also for the record company. But as I was making an example about the soccer teams, that we love the players so much that we end up throwing stones at Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates and Sundowns, that we actually forget the type of contracts that the players themselves
Signed,
got themselves into. So that's another advice that I want to give to the ones that get signed. All the best to you guys, and those that just got signed, congratulations. If you have not signed yet, make sure that you get those legal people to counter offer, to say exactly what you want. Don't just be too excited and sign, because you're going to come back tomorrow and blame that label. But you forget the type of deal you got into. But also you must remember, if I'm bringing something to the table on a normal business deal, not music, not soccer, not entertainment, in a lot of businesses, people will do joint venture deals, or will get into something, because I know you're bringing something to the table, I'm bringing something to the table.
Yeah.
We'll usually do 50-50 deals, or we'll do 60-40 deals, or we'll do 70-30 deals if I'm bringing a little to the
Yeah,
table and I know
yeah.
you're bringing in a lot.
You got to see the value.
But you're
in
not
it. You
going to
gotta see
come
the
tomorrow
value.
and take me to court if you know you're going to lose that case, because you know what you signed, right?
Yeah.
It's the same in music. You can't expect a partnership and for you to get the most when things are great. But when things are not great, you want to blame these guys, but these guys also spend their resources.
Yeah.
Why don't a lot of the times these guys come back later to say, we've spent millions on you, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They usually don't play the
blame game.
The blame game publicly. They would usually deal with you in court, because why? They do know that what you signed on black and white is what you signed.
Correct.
And you had the chance to take it to the legal people that you prefer. And you still signed this thing. And then later on, you want to still complain and blame these people. And rightfully so. You must complain, because now you're becoming smarter. That's why from the beginning, go get other people that you think know better than you to advise you what type of a contract you should sign. Sometimes it doesn't have to be only legal, guys. Nowadays, you can even get your uncle, your father. Not only maybe they are lawyers, maybe they know a Djswitch. Maybe they know a such and such an artist who can come and say, just over the phone, like, please speak to my youngster. He's about to sign this deal with such and such a label. Even if it's just on Zoom, I'd appreciate it, bro. Just 30 minutes on Zoom. There are some things that I'm not sure of. Because you're the parent. You've read the contract,
yeah.
even though you're not a legal person.
Correct.
But there's some things that are obvious for you where you're like, yeah.
Hold on now,
5
yeah.
albums. 10 years.
And I mean, that's
Oh,
crazy
yeah,
though.
you know what I mean?
Because people don't read it, and they say, like, when we sign this contract, you got to give us, 3 bodies or 3 albums of work, so that when we invest in you, we're going to make our money back, because it's a business. They need to make that money back. They need to recoup. and make profit.
I totally agree, and that's what
And
we
make
forget
profit.
as musicians. We
Yeah.
forget that.
It's a business, and because you also a business at the end of the day.
And actually, a lot of record companies lose nowadays because
Yeah.
you know what they're gonna do, bro? They're gonna grow your social media, number one, because they're the ones that are shooting the pumping the money in the music videos, blah blah blah, all of these different things. And then maybe you do that first album, doesn't pop. Second album, maybe get one or two singles that sort of get some radio spins and you get some sort of traction.
Yeah.
Third album, maybe they feel like, this guy, it's fine, even if he. And then the point I'm trying to drive to is, when you leave them after those 3 albums or after that 3 years or 4 years, you now have got 1 million followers. You now have got 2 million followers.
Right.
Which now you've got a platform to go hustle and make money elsewhere.
Correct.
You can choose to be an influencer. You can choose to go start a podcast. You can continue dropping music that is going to drop millions of views as soon as you drop, because now you've got a big following because of their rands and because of their hundreds of thousands of millions of rands they've been investing in you. So basically, you have that for the rest of your life. You're not only going to have that for 3 years, you're going to have that for the rest of your life. So some young artists out there who are smart, they do like, okay, cool, I don't mind being signed for like maybe 2 albums in the beginning, because I know their money will help grow my following, because I'm still like only on 5,000 followers, maybe on 3,000 followers. I know if I work with these guys in a space of 2 to 3 years, they might have shot these number of music videos for me. They might have done this number
Just depending on the contract
PR,
and what they've
they
signed.
might have gotten me into these type of TV interviews. They might have gotten me into these stages. They might have gotten me features with such and such and such and such. And all of that combined will sort of increase who I am from who I am now.
Correct.
And at some point when I start going independent, after 3 years of working with these guys, at least I can then now go leverage my celebrity. Because remember, you're not going to be hot forever.
Yeah.
Even if you've got a hit or 2 hits,
Yeah.
it's all about what you do with the hype that you get now
In
for
that
the
time,
longest of time. Because we are not all relevant forever.
Correct.
Including Michael Jackson, Beyonce, you can name all of them.
Right.
At some point, your star will not be as hot as it was in your prime.
Yeah.
So what you do is, no matter what you do during your prime, maybe you're signed, but even if maybe after you are signed, you no longer have that deal, at least when you are signed, it gave you that clout and those followers and those numbers that now you can hustle for the rest of your life, because now you are that person. Instead of focusing in the past, I did some great music and we did some great work with Lance Stir. Shout outs to Lance from Ghetto Rough, which is now Motherland Records, right? Instead of me complaining about the type of deal we did then, if I'd fallen into that trap my entire career, I would have complained my whole career.
Right.
But what I did from the beginning, no matter how dissatisfied as I was at the time, I was like, you know what? Thank you for believing in me and getting me into the game.
Correct.
Now I've got the name. It's time for me to hustle for myself.
Right.
And then I focused on the future as opposed to focusing on the past and always complaining.
happened,
What you can do, you can get legal people to go fight that while you are publicly focusing on the hustle.
Correct.
And what I get to realize is that a lot of us soccer players, a lot of us entertainers, musicians, DJs, and artists, we focus on complaining all of our career. When you've forgotten that at some point you were nobody. And now you've got this name, you can take advantage of it and make a whole lot more money, because
course.
now you can even fill up
Shout
venues.
out.
And the most money comes from sing deals, endorsement deals, making shows, being an influencer. And I watch a lot of artists who are no longer popping as much as they used to. They are now influencers. They're making hundreds of thousands every month. They're making millions every year.
I mean,
because
the
they're
thing-
leveraging of their star power now.
I think also, when you're in this whole game, it's university for you. You're learning as you go along. And if you don't grab all the gems, if you don't grab all this learning curves of how to run a record label and so on, then you're going to miss out. So you also got to be aware. You got to be in the business. Because not everybody is a business person. But at some point, you're going to have to actually sit down and say, actually, let me open up the books. Let me see where my money is going, where it's going to, where it's coming from, and so on and so on. How does an artist add value to their brand?
They add value to their brand by associating themselves with other artists who are bigger than them, associating themselves with brands that they feel will be good for their profile. Even if the bag is not that good enough, but me doing a TV commercial for that company, even if I want 1 million, but they're only offering me 300K. Yes, somebody else, I might look at it with a lens and say they're robbing me. I'm not worth that, I'm worth more. But if I don't take that deal and I insist on $1 million, it's easy for them to replace me. They might just say, okay, cool. Switch is giving us a problem. Let's go to DJ Maporisa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can
Yeah.
easily replace me. So maybe let me rather take the 300K. Let me rather take the bag. And let me leverage the fact that people are starting to see me with this big brand. And it's even easier for other bigger brands to be like, oh, this guy is associated with such big brands. It opens doors for you. Also, your image, how people see you out there, what you dress, how you look like, the things you say, even not only features, man. What did I want to say? The type of stages that they see you at.
Yeah.
There's other artists where they get to a certain level, they feel like, you know what? Now I don't want to do these types of shows anymore. I want to do these types of venues.
Yeah.
Okay, now I don't want to do these types of venues anymore. I want to do these types of venues. And there's also another lens where you can say, every venue counts, even if it's just 20 people.
Correct.
Even if I expected to see 500 people there, but there's only 10 people, I'm gonna give them a show like there are 10,000 people.
Correct.
That's how much work I'm gonna put out there. But association is important to get your brand out there. How you look like on social media. As much as I was saying that in the beginning, you don't have to worry about the type of quality of production that you have or cameras, but you must work towards getting better.
Correct.
So that your images look better,
Right.
your videos look better. You keep reinvesting back onto your career.
Right.
So a lot of artists, they want to withdraw what they're getting from the game and get and just waste the money and buy bottles. But you know that sometimes you don't even have to buy bottles because of who you are or who you are becoming. If your manager is smart enough or is a hustler,
The
they
ride
can
is
get you those
sorted.
bottles for free.
Yeah.
They can get you dope trip for free or for next to nothing.
I mean, I remember one stage, right?
They can get you a car for next to nothing. They can get you a car for your whole crew for next to nothing. You can even get a house, bro, for next to nothing. Like you can
Yo.
go to a property
I know
development company and
I
do
know
a
you giving
deal.
a houses where I'm coming
Sorry.
to come collect a stand out there. My man's is super passionate about what he does. He loves what he does. And you know, I remember at one stage when you were doing friends like these, you were in the public eye a lot. You had to be dressing up in suits all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're running a record label. So you had to be this persona to be that person. But now today, you don't even wear suits no more. You like
Not that much, yeah.
You're like, yeah. Because you're always looking fly, and you were putting up a level because you're running a successful business at TS Records.
That's why they call it a show business.
Right.
So, you put on a show, but you remember that it's a business. Yes, at some point, guys, you have to look smart, look dope. Your image is everything in this industry. I mean, as much as I was wearing a lot of those clothes were clothes that those companies want me to wear them.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
on top of that, actually, some companies would even give me their cars to drive, and they would service the cars, and they would put in gas a certain amount every month, and they would pay me for that. And even the clothes,
Yo.
they would,
Yo.
and I'm not even saying about me. I just want them to learn that you can get to that level where even the clothes that are fly and fresh, you're not even spending nothing. And people are thinking you're driving that car, you're dressing like, you're not even spending a single cent. You're actually even getting paid for all these different things. So it depends also on the management team that you have and the type of hustle that you guys have. If you don't have that type of hustle, you'll be afraid to call on those things in the boardroom. You must tell them that no. Actually, I would be getting this car. So because I'm doing a deal with you guys, I'd actually expect to get 2 cars.
Sure.
A Kumbi for my crew for going to gigs. We can brand it, your name, your company,
Correct.
and my own private car. That's the, so that's why I always encourage people to be in demand before they can, demand things. But when you get to a level where you push yourself up to where you're still independent and people are starting to pay you for certain things, people are trying to give you money for certain things, then you can demand things. And sometimes push the envelope, try it out and just say, no,
you'll know your worth. You'll
I
see
think
your
I'm
worth.
worth that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
What's the worst show you've done? Where they were like, you're speaking about the 10 people, the 20. What's the worst show you've done?
The worst what? Show.
Yeah.
Getting booed, bro. Like when I was starting out, I used to get booed. Even till today, sometimes you get to some crowds, man, they just look at you.
And they're wondering like, when's
And
what
then you
are
try
you gonna
this,
do? Show us.
Then you try this, you try the next track, they're just looking at you. And
Show
others,
us.
Others are on some, hey, this guy can he just
Right?
go out?
It's the calm, but
And
time to rotate.
that's how it starts for everybody.
Right.
You must never lose heart and be demoralized
Yeah.
by that type of energy from an audience because audiences differ. And all of those negatives and those difficult audiences, they're building you to become a stronger artist.
Yeah. And what happened to Mzakes, man? Is he coming back?
I don't know.
Where is he?
I last spoke to him in December. And a lot of people are asking me to, get him back in
the
get
game,
him
yeah.
to come back into the
Do you
game.
think Mzakes could do Amapiano?
He seemed not interested at the time, but he would kill Amapiano easily. Come on.
That's what I'm asking, you know.
Amapiano is quiet. It would easily kill Amapiano. Mzakes can drop a 10-track Amapiano album now, and he can outsell a lot of artists that are in the game now. Guaranteed.
I think you need to bring
You
him
can
back.
even
you know
cut
what I
this
mean?
clip and put it anywhere and let it trend. I can
We're
tell
gonna
you
talk
that.
about it. We're gonna
If
tell
I
him
can
like,
get
yo,
Mzakes, my man, to do a 10-track Amapiano album, he can even win awards again. Because
I mean,
for me,
yo.
Amapiano is quiet though.
yeah, yo, what a pleasure, what an honor. The innovator of one of the biggest selling energy drinks in South Africa called Faya, right? Philanthropist, author, the whole story. If you want to get the tips, check out Hustler's Corner, right? It's a podcast that Djsbu runs. You've inspired a lot of people. This is us giving you your flowers right now because you've inspired, Kasi lifestyle to elevate entrepreneurs from Ekasi. And we don't see that. But you're still doing it. You're still sticking to your roots and, being a great father as well and showing that, you need to start teaching your kids about financial literacy, pushing the envelope and not giving a damn, right? We got to salute you, want to give you your flowers. If no one's giving it to you, I definitely want to give it to you. Thank you for leading the way, paving the way, making a lot of money. Shit, I got to go get my stand out there where we're at, out there in the north, Homie's now doing the investment on land, getting the land. People are going to complain about it, but he's just going to go buy it, associating with other business people.
Split it up for the people, man.
And split it up.
For the people.
And if no one's giving you flowers, even with, we all do make our wrongs. And we can just do it for what we want, not for what everybody else wants.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got their own journey.
Yeah.
And, we got to salute you because you're always pushing the envelope. Because some people are like, now Djsbu's doing a podcast. And people look at it like, but all these old school guys are not going for podcasts because it's like, Grootmans are now doing podcasts. They can't do it on TV. And it's like, yeah, but where are you most of the time? You're on your phone.
Yeah.
And that's where the money's at. Sir.
Thank you, bro. I love you.
Thank you so much,
I just want to congratulate you for putting the guys on.
Yo, thank you for putting us on today. Yo.
It's been dope. And lastly, I just want to encourage you guys. Don't look down upon YouTubers. Don't look down upon you being a YouTuber, you being a podcaster, you opening up your own platforms to grow yourself, make money online, go for it. It's out there for the taking. A lot of people are sleeping on it. Don't. A lot of kids are making money on it. And once you've grown your platform big enough, you can then just use that platform, as I was saying earlier, to put out as many music videos as you can. And then it's easier to then catapult yourself to the top because your platform that you've grown is big. And then lastly, I think don't do it in a negative way where you are pulling others down.
Right.
Be ethical about
Correct.
it, but be creative. And there's nothing wrong about cloud chasing as long as it's not in a bad taste.
Yeah.
As long as it's not about pulling others down.
Correct. Yo, Djsbu. Thank you so much, sir.
Love you, bro.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Love you
I'm
too,
proud
sir.
of you, man.
Yo, make sure you check out next week when we're back. There's no freestyle this week because Sbu doesn't rap. But make sure
I
you
don't
check.
rap. Don't you know that I'm a hip hop ambassador?
Yo, we can play some music out here. I'm just saying. Yo, make sure you catch us next week. Like and subscribe. Make sure you share the content. It is your boy Djswitch, the mixtape king. If you don't know, now you know, suckers. See you guys next week. And just like that, man's left the building. Yo, we out. More fire, baby. Yo, is that a cut?